I heard this term race loyal a number of times before in conversations, and I have a different perspective on it. Um, I guess my only question is if black women are truly the most race loyal, why are they the least matched, the least messaged, the most rejected on every major dating app? If loyalty equals success, because it sounds like race loyal means that it's some success behind it. So if loyalty equals success, where is it? Why is it that despite dating within the race, black women experience the lowest marriage rates and the highest divorce rates compared to every other group? And if race loyalty was working so well, why are so many black women tired, burnt out, agitated, in therapy over relationship disappointment with men they say that they are loyal to? These are the questions that we got to ask, because from where I stand, all this race loyalty talk is just a mask, because it's not loyalty. It's, to me, it sounds more like restriction. Because let's be real, if you judge race loyalty by how black women treat black men and even their own babies, the picture changes. What we're actually seeing is selective solidarity, like until money, status, or self preservation enters the chat. And when it does, a disturbing number of them don't preserve the race. They prioritize themselves. So that's where I'm kind of hung up on the race loyalty thing.
I
If
don't
I
think they.
start, yeah, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I don't think they made the argument that it's equaling to success. They just I think those are independent points.
It probably wasn't a direct argument, but it just appears that way when I hear it. We're race loyal, as if you sticking to a race has some type of benefits to it. You get what I'm saying? But when there's an alarming rate of women that are uh, linking with black men and becoming race loyal, and it's not success on the other end. And what I'm trying to do is connect the dots. Like if you see other races looking from the outside in, and they see how black women are treating men and their children. I mean, it's kind of hard to not be race. I mean, and that's why I said race restricted. I
Well,
prefer that
the
term, because
the
if you
point
were,
of the video was
if you had
actually the
if you had
opposite,
an
though, though.
example of showing, if you had an example shown to all other races on the outside that you were treating black men well, you were treating your children well, you had high rates of successful relationships, families, nuclear families, and all that. I personally believe other races would be looking at the black women and they would be hitting on the black woman and trying to get in relationships with them. But because of the behavior, because of what we displaying in the data, it's kind of hard for other races to look at it, our sisters. So by default, I think they're kind of restricted because of the behavior that's going on. And I'm not going to say that we don't have, we're not contributive factors in it, but just that's just how I look at it.
I guess I'll go ahead then. So, um, that study he was talking about when he was saying that, black women are happier, and that research was done from about a decade ago. That's the closest they have to accurate data. So, I guess you could take that with a grain of salt. However, I did find some disturbing data that when black women marry outside of their race, their divorce rates are lower than if they married black men. And on the other side, black men, when they marry outside of their race, the divorce rates are the highest. So, with that, I came up with some type of thesis. Is basically, it goes back to what I say sometimes. It's about the overvaluing and undervaluing. I think that black women, whether it be true or not, our perceived value is lower than it used to be. Black women do not value black men, and you can hear it just from the sentiment. Even tonight, some of the commentary already made that black men are not like, we hear words like it's there's piss in the pool, and men of value, and there's not a lot of them. It's scarce. So black men in our current state, whatever we believe about ourselves, black women obviously don't think the same. Our views are not parallel. So now, what do we do now? How do we change that perception? Do we beat women into submission and say, well, damn, you're going to accept me as it is? Do we improve? What is it that we're supposed to do to bridge this gap? Where is the disconnect? Why is it that black women are viewing us way differently than we view ourselves? Who is delusional? Who is a step outside of reality? That's the question I would have for the panel.
So, great point. Because who's going to listen first? Who's going to take the other's experiences into consideration and actually adjust? Because all of us have to adjust. It's not so. My problem usually is that I'm hearing that women have to adjust. I never hear that men have to adjust. Both of us do. I've never held the opinion that it's men only that have to adjust. I think that there is a lot of growth. I think there is a lot of learning that men have to do. But I don't think that women are excluded from that. I think all of us are responsible for listening to each other and actually making the adjustments, because that's the only way this will work. It is not up to a woman to adjust to a man's needs and wants, because you all have the opinion that you all control marriage and you all control the household, and men have an overinflated sense of self. Men have an antiquated view of relationships, and that has to change. Women have unrealistic expectations of people who have not grown. Women have unrealistic expectations, period, on a lot of things, myself included. I've had to adjust a lot of my expectations. Not because I'm older. I don't care. It's just because I had the realization that the things that I may want is not going to come in a complete package. So all of us are going to have to learn how to adjust, but it first has to start with listening. Stop assuming you know exactly who people are and how they view things. And you ask, like men ask loaded questions. You don't want to listen. You're asking me this question, but you already have the answer in your head. We have to stop doing that to each other. We have to start listening. But who's going to do it first? That's really the question. Who's willing to adjust first? And if men are leaders, why don't y'all do it first? But I digress about that. I don't want to, be controversial with this topic. I'm really being sincere. I'm really not trying to dig. But we have to learn to listen to each other. We're not doing that. We want to be heard, but no one wants to listen.
Damn. Did you want to respond, DJ? Did you want to add to the conversation?
No, I didn't see the video, so I really am trying to just catch up with everybody. I mean, I don't never feel like I'm a part of these kind of conversations because I come from a 100% biracial background. So, one whole side of my family is white. The other whole side is um, Cuban. The other whole side is New Orleans Creole, French, Haitian people. So, I just in the Creole Haitians dated white women, and made the kids. And then the white women dated the black men in my family and made the kids. And then the Cubans date white, my Cuban cousins date white girls. And then my blacker Cuban cousins date white girls, and then the whiter Cuban cousins date black girls. So my whole family is all in California, whether they're from Cuba or New Orleans, and everybody's mixed. And so I love biracial everything. Me personally, I'm the one that likes black men. I I dated white boys when I was a kid, but I never put my mouth on a white boy. I just wasn't interested in it outside of 11th grade. So, after I left California, it was black men. And even I met up, like Bo said, I have friends that are white men, good looking, just not my spiritual cup of tea. Doesn't align for me there spiritually. I say hallelujah. I say things like that. It's just different. Definitely raised my 18-year-old in a white church, Pastor David Cooper, down the street in Atlanta. Great pastor, like him, but not for me, not at all. But definitely raised my daughter because they had a good praise and worship team over there for kids. Youth ministry was amazing, but for me, it's a little watered down. So, and the spirituality connection with white people, even my own family, it's just very different for me. So, I get it, and I come from the background of mixed people, and I love people that can do it. Hooray to them. But me personally, I just like black men. So
All right.
and I'm happy with them. Even if even if it's my past, I'm happy for that experience. It just doesn't make you trauma because, and I think I've said this before, it doesn't make just because a marriage didn't just because a marriage didn't last doesn't mean it was unsuccessful. It's probably unsuccessful to the outside looking in, but sometimes it's for the best of those two people. And a lot of times a negative can turn into a positive real quick, and that's how I look at life. And me and my ex-husband, we're very very close to this day, and we've been divorced 18 years, and my daughter's 18, and we can still sit on the phone and have a whole detailed conversation. So everything is not bad. It's just that sometimes when you're young, like in the space of me, and black women, and to touch which what he was saying, I'm like, man, I know so many women that, yeah, they didn't work out with their first marriage. Maybe it was religion. Maybe a lot of black women are bound by religion when they first choose. When they're young, they bound by religion, so they choose like that. Um, I know me, I was raised Jehovah's Witness, and I married because I didn't want to be looked at a certain way based on my family. You know what I mean? I didn't want to be kicked out of the congregation. I didn't want to be looked at and had to go stand in front of the Kingdom Hall in front of everybody and tell my business. So, I did what I was supposed to do, which is get married. Now, can I say I trauma bonded? It might have been trauma because I was bound by religion. But at the end of the day, we divorced. By the time I was 23, we married at 19, 20, 19. And then I was divorced. And so from there, we have a daughter and we raised her and she's 18. But again, that doesn't mean that that was a failed thing and black women are failing and constantly know we're loyal, but we're not loyal. I think that it's just a thing where everybody just has to go through life and has to have a testimony. Like I go always back to spirituality. And I think that we go through seasons and lessons all the time with different people. So if your season and your lesson's supposed to have been with a black and a white man on earth, then that's going to happen for you. Shout out to you. But, I think that we're supposed to all love, give, and forgive. That's all I look at. I don't care what color you are. So love, give, and forgiveness is the strongest thing for me, whether you with somebody or not. So, I think shout out to anybody that can be with anybody, but sanity is what's more important than a color. So peace is what we have to get to. So that's just my opinion. I didn't see the video, so I don't know what y'all talking about for
I will say, people who say black women stay married longer when they marry white men, and black men get divorced more when they marry white women. That's partially true, but here's the issue. Those numbers are compared to white couples, not black couples. So when someone says black women are better off marrying outside the race, they're not even comparing it to how black couples do. There's no big study right now, because I've been trying to look for it, but there's no big study right now that shows if marrying a white man is better than marrying a black man for black women. That's a big detail people forget when they try to make it sound simple.
Well, I wanted to add in that white men actually have higher divorce rates when they're married interracial as well. That study is out. Everybody divorced them. So I'm just trying to be honest.
But so, but
No
in the
black women
grand-
that's married to
in the
black the
grand-
white men and they divorced their tails, after about 20 years. But I mean, again, I just think it's a lot of people that just don't want to do the self work, regardless if you marry white men or black men or whatever. I just think people just don't want to do the work. They don't want to do the work on themselves. And that's why they feel like, okay, I can't get this over here. I'm going to go over here to Brad and John and see if they'll put up with me. You may get one that do it. See big black girls is married to white dudes. I've seen a couple of them they embellish those stories, but okay. But I'm just saying, everybody, just interracial dating as a whole do not have high divorce, do not have high success rates. It doesn't matter.
So, Dr. Ladio, and I get that point. Now, even with that, right, we realize that there's a major disconnect between black men and black women. If you were to say what you think black men could actually do better to have black women appreciate them more, what would you say some of the things that we need to work on?
You know what? I'm going to say, I'm going to say this. I think our infidelity rate is too high in our community. I truly do. Although most men are still not messing around, but it's more than enough to trigger black women. I think when it comes to that stereotype that black men have, it's, to be honest with you, it's kind of hard to say what black men need to be doing more, because white men ain't no different. I just wish people get out that stereotype as white men just better.
Well, I'm not saying that white men are better per se, but kind of F them right now, only because we worried about us.
Sure.
The only reason I'm just saying to direct the conversation to us, because it's a different demographic. They
I
have their
think-
own
I think-
multitude of issues as well.
I think that I think materialism get in the way of our relationships of black individuals. You hear it every day. Y'all can't
You think
provide.
black men are materialistic?
No, I think black
That's
women
what's
are
causing it.
materialistic. I think black women
No. So the question was, what do you think black men can do better?
Do better.
If
Y'all
you
can
had
make
to,
more
yeah.
money. According to black women, y'all got to make more money.
No, but what do you think? Forget black women per se.
To be honest,
I wish everybody would answer, but I want to know what you think
men,
personally.
my experience with black men, and that's the good ones and the bad ones, I can honestly say I'm not saying y'all perfect or whatever, but I don't be around black men who don't take care of their kids. I don't be around black men who are just terrible girl stick husbands. My girlfriends has been married 30 years and not complain about their husbands. I don't. That's the hard thing for me to answer.
All right. The only reason I say that is because you on a decent amount of panels, you hear the gripes and different things, and even though that may not be your experience per
Right.
se, so that would mean that you would deem everything that all the women are griping about as invalid. If that's your stance, I dig
Not
it.
at all. Not at all. I think black men lie to black women a lot.
Okay.
from the ones that's dealing with them. So yeah, they have a lot of validity. Black women do go in with this with a certain mindset. Yeah, a lot of guys do. I say a lot of what's out there now, men be lying. Let's just keep it above. What's out there right now, that I'm talking about the people in the dating pool, these men be lying. And a lot of women a lot. I will say that.